Welcome, everybody, to a very special UnFranchise Business Presentation. You know, JR, we have thousands of unfranchised owners that have tuned in with their guests, and I hope everybody out there is staying safe, staying healthy, and everybody looks happy, which is great to see.
Wow.
So, yeah, congratulations for being here. JR, I want to mention a couple of things. First of all, I'm honored to share this stage and be part of this UnFranchise Business Presentation with our visionary and the creator of the plan, JR. So everybody give a big round of applause for JR.
The truth of the matter is Andrew and I have done this all over the world. We've been in so many homes. He's my partner and my sidekick, and we love doing it.
It's a lot of fun.
It's my favorite thing.
It's a lot of fun. And for those of you who are guests out there, please take note that the person or the unfranchised owner that introduced you to the business and had you join this broadcast, they respect you enough. They think enough of you to have you evaluate our products, business, and technology. So I encourage you to thank them in advance, okay? The reason why I say that is because this business, Jared, and I think you'll agree with this, is not necessarily for everybody. You know, the timing might not be right. You might not be ready for it. You might not qualify. However, anybody and everybody who is sincere and serious about enhancing their quality of life or improving their standard of living can create a very significant supplemental income by simply following this proven business plan, right?
And they might know the right people, in which case there's a way to benefit.
It could be mutually profitable, exactly. And you know, so ultimately, we attract entrepreneurs, right? And we attract some cool people. And, you know, so tonight, I think hopefully you'll recognize how, you know, by simply following this business plan, it'll enable you to reach your personal and financial goals. We've been doing this for almost 30 years, you know, and I believe this is just the beginning. And
well,
Jared, go ahead.
I want to echo that. Yeah. You're not going to let me talk much.
No, I am going to let you talk.
Andrew always says, I take too long to show the plan because I get all excited and, you know, really drive it home. And he may be right, but we do well together. I don't know what you were told tonight, whoever invited you, what they told you, but I do know that they hold you in high regard because they can only really start with a couple people and share this with them and involve them, and so that you mean a lot to them.
Exactly.
So I hope that you'll leave your apprehension and your wallet at home or in the drawer, being that you are at home, and just relax because there's nothing to decide tonight. You can't get in. It's really a discovery process to discover something that has happened and developed over the years that has turned into a billion-dollar enterprise, helping thousands of unfranchised owners develop a financial supplementary income or living security. And it's a pretty amazing story because it just happened.
Exactly.
And, you know, so I have an old saying, Andrew, that I've been saying at every meeting for 30 years, that if you want to be successful, identify a paradigm-shifting trend and position yourself to lead the parade rather than getting in at the tail end of the parade. Now, we've all heard of things that people got in the beginning and they became very successful or financially independent, but, you know, it never happened maybe to you.
Right.
But you're at the right place at the right time with the right people because it can happen for you now because this is one of those paradigm-shifting trends, I assure you. So I always tell people that I have a requirement that you have to see this 3 times in order to become involved. So tonight will be time number 1. But the reason for that is that the first time you see it, it often creates more questions than it answers. So as you see it, boy, you get a lot of questions in your mind. So the second time you see it, you see things that you did not see the first time. And the light bulb goes off. Wow. And the third time you see it, if you're right for it, fireworks will start going off in your brain because you'll see how it applies to you and how you can apply it in your own life. And at that point, all we're going to do is test it. I don't want you to get off track and devote a lot of time to something that's not right for you, that you're not going to be successful at, or waste our time. I want to know that it's going to work. So I love to test it out with someone, and see if we can get it off the ground. It's called a test market. They do it in almost every industry.
Exactly.
And so we do the same thing. And I got to say that, Andrew and I are kind of like sportscasters. Like sporting events, one guy calls the play, another guy adds the color. Well, he calls the play, I add the color, so we don't go too long. But we've discovered over the years, and I'll shut up and let you go.
No, it's all good.
We've discovered over the years that sometimes it's better to tell the story, or being that I'm here, or the genesis of how this happened. How did this incredible marketing concept evolve? How did it come into being? Because sometimes when you show a marketing presentation or business plan, it comes off canned. It's too it's too canned. It's too persuasive. But I think that when you hear the story, you can see how this was just meant to be. This makes a lot of sense. This really does address reality. This is something that can be applied in your own life, not because we're trying to sell you on it, but because that's what it is.
Exactly.
And it just happened. It happened in our home, and we pursued it, and it led to some other people. And, so this is a story of this little business concept, this dream that was built around people making it and doing it together, that turned into a billion-dollar internet marketing enterprise around the world. And here we are. It's hard to believe, but that's what happened. And maybe you can see how you fit in.
Yeah, consistent growth for almost 30 years. And you're right, JR, people supporting other people is really the way it should be. And I think they'll understand how, the business model is designed that way, and how by helping other people succeed, it ensures your own success.
So the question is, do you want me to tell that story, or do you want to jump into the plan?
Well, I think it's appropriate to tell the story, JR. I don't think anybody's going to say no, right? You're here and you've all asked, like being on a talk show. Of course they're going to want to hear it. So yeah, tell the story.
So this won't take more than 5 minutes, and if it does, you tell me to shut up. Okay. But many years ago, 30 years ago, I was working in Greensboro, North Carolina, right here, for a company. I was a consultant for a company called TV Ventures that put products that were seen on TV and marketed them through people. And I was also a consultant for some direct sales companies. So at any rate, I met this girl here while in Greensboro who was 18, and she kind of picked me up. Her name was Lauren, and
of course she said you picked her up, but you say she picked you up. But it's fine. It's fine.
She was quite a head turner.
Yes.
And at any rate, we became girlfriend and boyfriend, and now she's been my wife for 30 years, which is a whole nother success story in itself. But at any rate, I would come home complaining and frustrated about nobody listens, I have a better way, everything's upside down, inside out, mass marketing doesn't work, it costs too much in branding and in advertising, and it's almost impossible to get new products on the shelf. It's a caste system, and it just doesn't work. I got a better way. I say in direct sales, I've been doing it for a while, and it requires too many people, too much volume for any one individual to make money. All they do is slam masses of asses against the wall and hope that some of them stick. I'm fed up with it, and I would go on and on and on. I said, I have a better way. And Lauren would say, well, what is that? I said, well, it's called one-to-one marketing. People hate to be sold, but they love to buy. So just imagine if we knew what everybody wanted, and we knew what everybody bought, and we developed a database. Well, I could see the commonalities. 10,000 people wanted widget A, 5,000 people wanted widget B. You know, some people wanted this new magic potion or lotion, and I could go out and source them out and get a better price, add value to them, and I was eliminating all the inventory and all the shipping and all the advertising and branding, which was 75 cents on the dollar on most products.
Right.
And she says, that's just brilliant. You know, I say, you know, like when you go into a store and a salesman comes up to you and says, can I help you? You don't say, yeah, sell me something, do you?
You don't.
No, you say, oh, I'm just looking, waiting on my wife, you know, just browsing,
Right.
because we don't like to be pressured. We don't want to be, we don't want to be sold. But we know what we want, right? So if you can match the product to what somebody wants, or if you know what they want and match them to the product, you have a viable business plan.
Exactly.
You know, so, you know, I told her about this, and she said, why don't you just do it, big guy? I said, oh, man, it's never been done before. I might go bankrupt. I mean, you know, I'm not quite sure how I would begin. And she says, well, you just explained it. Why don't you do it? So she kind of called my bluff. So she said, I can see that you're not ready. You're anxious to talk, aren't you?
No, you're doing fantastic.
I can see that you're not ready, that, you know, you just don't have the intestinal fortitude to do it right now. And I said, let's go to a movie and forget it for the night. So we went, you know, it's dangerous to go to a movie with me because, well, I hate to be upset and I hate to be scared. And most movies get you upset or scared. Why do I got to pay for it? I'm upset and scared all the time.
And actually, I can attest to that. During quarantine, we spent a lot of time together. I found you don't like a lot of the movies that we choose. It's okay, though.
Right,
You're
I don't
right.
need the aggravation.
Yeah.
You know, I have enough of it in my own life.
Right.
So, so we went to a movie, and this was the exception to the rule. Hey, look, it was 1990. I don't remember what the movie was. You know, Rocky II or Lock, Stock, and Barrel. But it was the exception to the rule. That night, I was mesmerized. I got caught up in the moment. You know, I laughed, I cried, I forgot that I was there. It was one of those movies. Mm-hmm. And when I got home, I couldn't wait to tell people about it. So I started calling people up and saying, you won't believe this movie. I mean, this happened and that happened, and it's just incredible. You got to see it. And they didn't act too impressed. You know, they said, oh, that's wonderful, whatever. Very happy for you, okay? But the next week, when they wanted to go to a movie, they remembered my effervescent enthusiasm. And they decided to go to the same movie that I did. And they would go, and they would come back, and believe it or not, they called me up, said, man, you were right, it's incredible. What a great movie. I mean, you see, when this happened and that happened, we told other people about it. And I told Lauren, that proves my point. Mm-hmm. This could work. Because if I could track that, okay, if I could track that, I would have an incredible business model. I'm going to try to track it. So I started calling the people up and said, listen, you know, I told you about the movie, you told other people about it, I got a business idea, I need you to help me out. If it works, I'll cut you in on it. I didn't even know what I was cutting them in on. But they liked the sound of that, so they arranged, you know, for me to talk to the people that they talked to that went to the movie. And I began to track it, okay? And I tracked it to about 8 tiers down, 200 people. I say it's trackable. If it's trackable, I can automate it, and we can computerize it, okay? So we set out to do that, and we started to see commonalities. You know, several people wanted widget A, 1,000 people wanted widget B, and I would go source them out, make a better deal, add value to them. I think we had some rocks that made odors go away in the refrigerator. We had something called trim drops, so you put the drops on your, you know, your wrist, and it would make you stop or stop smoking drops or whatever. Yeah. You know, later came things like thermochrome and whatever. But we started somewhere, and my idea was that if one person told another person, told another person, told another person, we would give them 100% credit for the referral for whatever part of the profit we could give. So that would tie them in, 100% credit without dilution until they did enough to get paid. Well, I made a discovery. Okay, if there was $20 profit and 10 was going to go to them, and I gave each person $1, and within 10 people, I would be out of money. Everybody understand that?
Yep.
This was an epiphany. Well, I got through, grade school or junior high, and it didn't take a genius to figure out you needed a multiplier. If I did it and you were in that string and got credit, if you got one more and started it, I could figure out algebraically and mathematically how to cover paying both because there was a multiplier. And so that was the beginning seed or start or design of the marketing plan. In marketing, you need a margin and a multiplier. The smallest multiplier is 2. You can't have 2.5 people. You can't have 3.5 people. Right. So 2 made a lot of sense. So we started out, and this database grew to 100,000. First 10,000, then 100,000. We were matching products to people, and it kind of became 10 major areas of market-driven products that the people wanted. We weren't telling them what to buy, and that became our mall without walls.
Exactly. Okay,
and from there, with that marketing plan that we had to refine and figure out, had to figure out that it was actuarial because we let you accumulate the money way beyond a month, so commissions weren't over at the month. A lot of things to figure out is really a miracle. It could be done in insurance and real estate, but I'm not going to show them how to do it so that they can all work together rather than being in competition because I don't have a patent on it. I forgot to patent it. But it sure works for us, doesn't it?
It is a miracle.
So that's the story of how it started. So what came out of this was a business model where people could recommend things, and we would find market-driven products, and by simply following this simple plan with 2 lines or channels of distribution, they could end up making a significant income.
Exactly.
And this is what it turned into.
So, JR,
a little later, by the way, we bought Shop.com because we were trying to figure out a way where we could sell anything that people wanted. We struggled with it for 5 years. It's a very rare and difficult thing to do. You got Amazon, and you got us. But when Shop.com became available to acquire, we made that move, and here we are today. And
it's been quite an evolution, quite a journey, quite an adventure. Obviously, we've been very fortunate to attract so many great entrepreneurs around the globe. And we have a lot of guests who've tuned in who are evaluating the business, products, and technology. And we're hopeful that you'll recognize how you can benefit in several ways. The first way is with our products. Not only can you make money, but you can save money at the same time, and you can literally impact the quality of one's life simply by introducing them to our exclusive products and services. The second way to benefit is with a business model, a business plan. It's a plan that's in line with reality. It's based on realistic expectations. It's not based on what a company wants people to do. It's rather based on what people have been proven to actually do. And the third benefit is the association with some cool people. Our community of entrepreneurs are individuals who are driven, they're ambitious, they're goal-oriented, they have energy, they have life, and they're supporting other people to help them succeed. And that's the type of community that I'd like to be a part of. And I know you as well, JR. So those are the 3 things that we're hopeful that you'll recognize so you can benefit as we go through this presentation.
A fringe benefit is that quite often the people that you get involved in the business with that work together and succeed together become closer than your actual blood family.
Economic,
really care.
Right? Economic connectivity, right? And what's interesting, obviously, over the past year, we lived in a very interesting or extraordinary time. And I always remind the individuals I talk to all the time and new individuals evaluating the business and our products and technology, our business is based in the home. It's online. We have products that are necessary to strengthen your immune system to live healthier and live longer. And we have connectivity. Not only do we have connectivity, we have economic connectivity. We're going to show you exactly the referral tracking system, exactly how you're compensated and simply following the UnFranchise business plan.
So how they can use this technology and these products and this model from home, okay, to derive a supplementary income that could grow into...
Could be very significant.
That's pretty interesting. My point is this. It's very relevant right now. People are looking. People are worried. And here's the solution.
Here's the solution. So, JR, with your permission, we're going to jump into the presentation.
Okay, do that,
And thanks for giving us the history and the genesis of the company. I think everybody out there really appreciates it. Give them a round of applause for that. Absolutely.
Oh, well.
Absolutely. So here we go. Here we go. We're diving right in. So the guests that are out there, here we go. Pay attention. And by the way, don't worry about understanding all this tonight. Okay, just sit back, relax. There's a lot of new terminology and concepts and information that we're going to present to you, but you don't need to worry about understanding it all.
You got to see it 3 times anyway, at least if you're going to deal with me.
Exactly. We're all dealing with you. So here we go. Market America. So let's talk about marketamericanshop.com. The company provides a system for entrepreneurs to create a supplemental income while providing consumers worldwide with a better way to shop. And through revolutionary technology, which JR alluded to, and the power of people, we feel as though we're creating the economy of the future, right? The other economy might be struggling, but not our economy, because we've created our own. And we're powered by people just like you, okay? And of course, we live in a rapidly changing economy, don't we, JR? I mean, technology moves, you can't hardly keep up with it. And I believe, this global pandemic has only accelerated what was inevitable. A lot of these things I'm going to mention right now was already in motion, was already happening. I mean, you think about it. More and more people are going online rather than in line to purchase the things that they need and want. Okay, so online shopping continues to grow. The migration from a brick and mortar to click and order has accelerated. It continues. You mentioned one-to-one marketing. People hate to be sold on something, but they do love to buy. People just want what they want, you see? And so that's the direction that we went in, and we've led that paradigm, right, rather than mass marketing.
Right. So in that model and with that technology that we provide is a 360 turnkey experience with all the technology, the products, fulfillment, order processing, credit card processing, everything, SEO, SEM, everything that someone would need in the digital world to have an e-commerce business is actually an Amazon site. Like it's a universal shopping cart that each individual has. And unlike other businesses like the big A, there's nobody to talk to. But here, you're the connection to the customer. You take care of the customer. You help them find things. And it really works. It's the glue that holds it together. So from home, you would have to invest literally hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to do this type of thing. We package it and provide it all for you.
Exactly.
And somebody to help you do it that knows how to do it. So it doesn't get any better than that, Andrew.
So we have the rise in entrepreneurship. Jerry, I think you'll agree that more and more people have recognized the fact they have to take control over their financial position and future. So these 4 major trends can be capitalized on. You can take advantage of with the UnFranchise business. Okay?
Exactly.
Now, one of our registered trademarks is the term the UnFranchise business. I just want to break it down for you for a moment. We call ourselves the UnFranchise simply because we took all the strengths, all the advantages, all the components that makes franchising work, we've incorporated into our business model. So if you think about it, if you have a franchise, it's a proven system. There's an absolute systemized, standardized, and required way of doing things. Right? If you own a McDonald's, you can't do it the Burger King way. You follow the McDonald's system. And in doing so, the chances for your success are pretty good, right? Management tools, marketing tools, ongoing training and support, market-driven products and services, branding, growing visibility are all components of franchising that makes it work. But we're unlike a franchise in that we don't charge ongoing monthly royalties or franchise fees. In fact, the opposite is true here. On the business you develop, you're paid, as opposed to paying the franchisor a 5 to 10% royalty based on the gross revenue. You see, the franchisor makes money whether the franchisee does or not. Well, here it's just the opposite. There's minimal startup expenses, of course, potential tax advantages, right? No large monthly overhead to deal with, no geographical restrictions. It's not a full-time endeavor. It's part-time, right? I like to say, JR, that you can use your boss like he or she uses you to develop this business. And if you want to down the road, then you can make a decision whether you want to continue.
So we remove all of the entry barriers. Why don't you go buy a McDonald's right now? Well, you probably wouldn't want to because all you did was buy an expensive job. But the truth of the matter is because it costs millions of dollars, right?
Exactly.
We eliminate those types of barriers. And once you're involved in it, it works just like a franchise. You don't need to figure anything out. You even have, and the franchising has not figured this one out. If I were to give them our methodology, formula, and technology, one franchise could benefit from another franchise, but we're never going to do that.
Don't give it to them. Let's keep it for ourselves, right?
But you actually have a team of other people that have an economic interest and stake in your business succeeding. Where else do you get that? You know, so it's better in many ways than a franchise could ever be, but it has the same systemization. You just follow the system, it all works.
All the advantages of franchising eliminated all the weaknesses, hence the unfranchised business. So the company was founded back in 1992 right here in Greensboro, North Carolina, in his little home, him and Lauren's home. And now we're, of course, a global business. And just to define Market America Worldwide, we're a global product brokerage and internet marketing company that specializes in one-to-one marketing. Now, that is a mouthful. There's a lot of new terms there. We'll break them down momentarily here. We currently operate in 8 countries. Our world headquarters is still here in Greensboro, North Carolina. We employ over 850 people worldwide. We've been fortunate enough to be recognized for how we conduct business, our performance, our integrity, and trust through the Better Business Bureau, a very prestigious award called the Torch Award, which we've received twice, in 2013 and 2018. It's great to receive it one time. I think it's unprecedented to receive it twice, right? And we've always had the highest rating with an A+.
You know, one of the things I like about the Better Business Bureau, I'm not trying to give them a plug, but most regulatory agencies or consumer protection agencies, all they do is try to earn merit badges by hitting the bad people. They don't point out the ones that do well, that do good, that rise and do things the right way, whereas the Better Business Bureau does. And I think that's everybody wants to know who does things right, who's honest, who stands by their word, who has integrity.
Exactly.
And they do that.
And we've done that. So yeah, exactly, JR. Thanks for mentioning. So just to give you an idea of where we are right now, we've generated almost $10 billion in estimated accumulated retail sales since the inception of the company. But more importantly, individuals, unfranchised owners, have earned over $5 billion when you take into account the retail profits combined with commissions earned, over $5 billion. We have thousands of unfranchised owners spanning 8 countries that earn commissions on a weekly basis. And we have hundreds of unfranchised owners who have earned in excess of $1 million in commissions, and many of which have earned that multiple times over.
And we're not making it up. We have audited financials every year that we publish so that everybody knows the whole story.
Exactly. So the growth has been very consistent, very solid. In fact, I believe that this is just the beginning. We sit in a very solid foundation from which we're continuing to grow from. And I believe, for those of you who are evaluating the business today, it's almost like you have the best of both worlds, right? We have a solid business, so you have the security and stability, but you also have the opportunity, because nobody's really heard of any of our or any of our exclusive brands, or maybe even of shop.com or our company. So the opportunity, I think, is very relevant, very timely, and great.
It's fresh.
It's fresh. So let's talk about the system that most people have conditioned to follow. And we call it the 40 to 45 year plan, right? Where most people, they get an education, some get a higher education, some don't, some, quit school before they graduate. It doesn't really matter. The point is, regardless, you have to get a job. You have to go to work. in order to earn money to pay the bills and live your life, okay?
They exchange time for money. And it's a vicious cycle. It's a rut that gets deeper and deeper, and you can never get out of it because as soon as you stop, there's no income. You need to find a system that provides a way to develop a supplementary income from the time you put in, but you continue to get paid from what you already developed and did going forward.
Exactly. Well said, JR. Well said. So the point is, after 40 to 45 years, only a very small percentage of people make it, either because maybe they inherited their money or they own their own business. The rest end up still working, they're no longer with us, or they're struggling financially, simply because they're working a plan for somebody else rather than a plan for themselves. And like you said, JR, they're trading time for money. If they don't go to work, they generally don't get paid, okay? So most people, you know, when they finally wake up and recognize the fact that they're not going to reach their personal and financial goals by continuing to work for somebody else, in some cases it could be too late. But when you start to evaluate the alternatives, you start to recognize very quickly that these opportunities or businesses either take too much time or too much money, right? Think about starting your own business. Where's the capital going to come from? What kind of business are you going to start? Most people can't take a leap of faith, quit their job, and start their own business.
How are you going to figure out how to do it? You don't have a partner that's already done it, you know, or you got to go back and get education. Exactly. You know, how many people are going to go back and get a master's degree or 3 years of technical training? It's just unrealistic for most people. So let's lower the entry barriers and provide a track to run on that the average person can do. You know, I'm a big believer that people power is the most powerful force in the world. You give people the opportunity to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, to have a better life, and remove the barriers that prevent it. You know, the investment. I mean, to make $100,000 a year, 6 figures, the rule of thumb is 5 times the net. So where are you going to get $500,000? Okay, and what are you going to do? Quit your job and see if it works?
Exactly.
I mean, that's just not realistic for most people. So we have the cookie. We have the solution.
We have the alternative.
You know,
exactly.
We have the alternative.
Even franchising, like you said, is really out of line of reality, or even traditional network or multi-level marketing, you know. It's just, there's some people who do make it, but the vast majority don't because they're not based on realistic expectations.
Exactly.
So hence the unfranchised business 2 to 3 year plan. Okay, please recognize we're not saying 2 to 3 months. It's a 2 to 3 year business plan by investing approximately 8 to 15 hours per week, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. It's a plan that enables you to create a foundation to earn a supplemental income. And of course, everybody has their own desires, dreams, goals, and aspirations. So the time, energy, and effort that you want to invest is up to you based on what you want and when you want it, you see? And obviously there's potential benefits like debt reduction and saving for a college fund or saving for retirement. Maybe it's to satisfy your mortgage, rent, or car payment, and potential tax advantages. At the end of the day, it's up to you.
But not everybody makes it. And I'm going to tell you, the typical situation is a person does very little, and it doesn't reach this point for them. So we have to understand something. When you lower the entry barrier to a point where anybody can do it, it doesn't cost much. You don't have to put in so many hours. You don't have to have an education. There's no test. I mean, if everybody got into Harvard, it would be a terrible school. You know, they have standards.
Right.
So because of that, quite often the percentages of people that make the big money are not that high because of the denominator. They fill the denominator with people that just buy products at wholesale that don't really open their business, that don't become a master unfranchised owner.
Exactly.
But the truth of the matter is, this is why correlations and causation are very important in statistics. We're getting academia, outside firms to validate this. The people that do certain things that is correlated to success in the business, and it doesn't take much. There are things that you need to evaluate. Can I do that? I absolutely can do that. So the question is, will you do it? So here is the one thing in life, in business, that you can do to change the outcome and not be one of those statistics, government statistics of not making it 1%, 4%, 5%, right?
Exactly right, JR. And we're going to show you exactly how it works momentarily here. So I mentioned before, we're a product brokerage and internet marketing company that specializes in one-to-one marketing. I'm going to just break that down for a minute so you have a better understanding of why we're positioned as a product brokerage company and how it's advantageous, right? A couple of points here, JR, and feel free to chime in. We have hundreds of our own exclusive products and services. And as Jared mentioned, we don't just create a product and hope that it sells. We've identified what people want, and then we have hundreds of suppliers, vendors, and manufacturers that we partner with to create our own exclusive or proprietary formulations. Now, we don't incur the costs of advertising. We have minimal distribution costs, minimal overhead. So what we're able to do, being positioned as a product brokerage company, not being a manufacturer, it enables us to put more value where it belongs, which is in the products and services. And we can pass the savings along into retail profits and commissions. I know, Jared, one of your original thoughts or visions when you started the business was to never be limited to one product or one product line or even one industry.
And this is all about having an ongoing income and longevity. You put time in, you build something, you build a market base, you build a customer base, you build a distribution base. You want it to last. Well, in this day and age, okay, with the information age, new products, new paradigms come out and blow up and overnight disappear and are replaced by something else. I mean, look at typewriters, Smith Corona, look at Kodak, and it's happening all the time. So you don't want to be stuck in a certain product category when your objective is to create an opportunity that generates ongoing income for people by providing people what they want. You want to be able to go where the action is, where the new trend comes in, and keep the things that people love that work, and that's what we do.
That's exactly right. So as a product brokerage company, we have the flexibility of moving with the marketplace. Whatever is new, hot, or emerging, in many cases, we'll always be there.
Why? Because you want it and you can sell it and you can make money. So, you're basically our boss.
Exactly.
If everybody wants something, we're going to come out with it. If there's something new that everybody's excited about, we're going to come out with it.
And of course, at this World Conference, there's going to be some great new product introductions. So hopefully that makes some sense. You have more of an understanding of why it's advantageous to be positioned this way.
There's one other aspect of this concept. Not everybody's interested in the same thing. If you're interested in web centers and not motives, and all we had was cosmetics, you wouldn't become involved. Okay? A doctor may not be interested in doing skincare, but they'll do nutrimetrics. What it does, it's like a university. You can't major in everything, but you major in what you are best at, that you have connections in and want to do. But you can then bring other people in that don't do your major, that do other majors, and you get credit for all of that volume. Isn't that a much better, model than being a one product, one market, vertical company?
Absolutely. Everybody has different interests. So this makes the scope so much more broad, which makes the business model that much more powerful, right? If you have only one product and the person's not interested in that product, well, you really can't do business with them. Here, we have such a wide variety, and everybody can specialize in their area of interest. And it's all funneled through the one compensation.
And I need to point out, it's not diluted. These are real colleges or universities or markets, vertical markets with a total 360 turnkey system, the great products, the training, the marketing, they're done right. So remember that. You don't have to always get people in the same market that you're in. They can be in, if you're studying math, you may not want to study art.
Exactly.
To do art, but, somebody else does.
And everybody wins. So we have every division or market represents a multi-billion-dollar industry, okay? So we're an internet marketing company in that we equip every individual, every unfranchised owner with their own shop.com site, okay? And through that shop.com site, consumers not only have access to Market America's exclusive products, but they also have access to thousands of partners, which makes up millions of products and services. There's no cost for a customer to register and shop on shop.com, but the incentive is they get paid to shop. So why wouldn't somebody want to start to convert their spending into earning? Why wouldn't a consumer want to get paid for the same products and services they're purchasing from the same companies? So it's all combined into one shopping experience through shop.com.
Well, the genius of that is the supply chain is beginning to change and I mean, this pandemic was part of the catalyst and the whole blockchain thing, and it's beginning to change where it's not locked into a cash system where you can't get any more margin out of someone if you have the numbers. Now, I mention that because we all drive our income in business by being able to sell a product and service customers that are repeat, and we, from BB, have a nice income. But when you already have the organization and economic glue where everybody's making money and working together, we all spend thousands of dollars elsewhere, and with a universal shopping cart like Amazon has, like shop.com, we can provide everything else. So you would end up getting 2 checks per organization without having to recruit people rather than one. That's the concept.
And we're going to show you how that works in a moment. Exactly right.
Right.
So, you know, back to JR's original concept, he wanted to create a business whereby you could get credit or convert your spending into earning on almost anything and everything that you need or want. We're all living and breathing human beings. We have to buy things in order to live. And when you think about a traditional annuity takes capital to invest in. Well, with the shopping annuity, what you're investing is what you're already spending. You see, so you're able to convert your spending into earning, and all the purchases from our partner stores and our exclusive products are tracked by the referral tracking system that JR mentioned. And when you or anyone you lead to shops online, what we're going to show you is how you can get 100% credit for all those purchases. And over time, that can start to create a very significant supplemental income. And over time, it can create what, JR? Living security.
Living security. Living security is when you have a repeat customer base that loves the product or loves the shopping, experience, and it builds a certain level, and you have other people, entrepreneurs, earning money by doing it and handling it, which means that you automatically make money. So now you have living security. You don't get living security with life insurance. You got to die, right? Here you can live and have the security of a nice income from having built the business.
Exactly.
So I call it living security, you know?
So here we go. If you knew both systems work, the traditional 40 to 45 year plan and continuing to trade time for money, or the UnFranchise Business 2 to 3 year plan, whereby investing 8 to 15 hours per week, you can create a significant supplemental income over time, which would you prefer? And of course, I'm speaking to the guests who are evaluating the business right now. And we're going to assume that you would choose a 2 to 3 year plan over the 45 year plan, because most people already have the 45 year plan.
Most people are an expert at the 45 year plan. They're an expert at the job. They know where it's going to lead. They know what is happening to most people after 45 years of work and what they are going to have. The thing I don't understand, even if you could retire at age 65, who wants to wait to 65 to start having fun?
Right. And you know, we're having more and more younger entrepreneurs that are attracted to the business because, like you said, they don't want to wait till they're 65 years old. Why do that?
Well, the unfortunate thing is they get there and they're going to find out that they were lied to. It doesn't work. The 401ks aren't there. The half-pay pensions aren't there. Social Security is so small you're starving. You know, so what are you going to do?
Well, this generation is a lot more entrepreneurial minded than the previous generations. So, being that you chose a 2 to 3 year plan, let's jump right into it. And of course, you know, we recognize the fact that if you don't do anything, if you don't implement the proven tasks and activities that we outlined for you, then don't expect to make any money. All right? JR, you know,
right. You don't make what we're showing by seeing it, and you don't make what we're showing by signing up. You make what we're showing by doing it, okay, and doing it the right way. And we're providing now, you know, from credible third-party sources, analysis of the correlations of what people do that make the money. So you can see that if people do X, Y, and Z, they make this much.
Right.
I think that's pretty powerful.
It's very powerful. So now I know everybody that's sitting at home, especially the guests, are like, well, can you just show me how it works?
Yeah.
Here we go. So here we go. There's 5 simple steps, right, to establish the business and develop it successfully. Here we go. Step number 1, you apply. And you apply online. It takes minutes. And when you apply to the business, you can establish it one of 2 ways. The first way is as a sales representative. Costs nothing. But the only thing you can do as a sales representative is have access to the company's exclusive products at unfranchised cost or wholesale, and then physically resell those products at retail. And that's okay because you can make a healthy retail profit. And you have access to our global meeting, training, and seminar system. However, the vast majority of the people who evaluate the business and test it out and go on a trial run, they're more attracted to becoming an unfranchised owner. Now, becoming an unfranchised owner, there's a cost. You're establishing a business. And this cost is $129.95 for the subscription. Now, as an unfranchised owner, of course, you have access to the company's exclusive products at unfranchised cost. You can resell them at suggested retail prices and make a healthy retail profit. Yes, you have access to the meeting, training, and seminar system, but you're also equipped with and provided with an e-commerce enabled shop.com site. And beyond that, many other additional sites to market your business, all e-commerce enabled, all built into your account or into your system. You also have access to unfranchise.com management reports where you can measure, monitor, adjust, and control your entire business. And
you almost see everything in real time.
In real time, right from your mobile device, you can track everything. And maybe most importantly, as an unfranchised owner, you can participate in the Management Performance Compensation Plan, where you can earn up to $3,600 in weekly commissions per business development center, which we're going to show you now. Okay? So, the subscription includes, in addition to what I've already mentioned, a getting started guide, a very comprehensive unfranchised manual. We have a digital magazine that we send to you as well, which is all connected to your account. I mentioned the shop.com site, a global shop.com site as well. We service over 160 countries worldwide, right from the comfort of your own home. A complete audio training series. I mentioned the management reports. And here's what's cool. You're connected to experienced unfranchised owners who have a financial interest in your success. And you're going to see exactly how that's organized, and you'll understand how by helping other people succeed who deserve your time, energy, and effort because they're sincere and serious about improving their quality of life or enhancing their standard of living and following the system, how it ensures your own success. So step number 1, apply. Good? Step 2 is to create. And what you're creating is BV. Now, BV stands for business volume. And BV is a point system. It's a unit value. It's a points that we assign to each and every Market America exclusive product, right? Now, most people have a love affair with BV. Some people have a fatal attraction for BV, and you're going to understand why. But the point is, the BV value is very high. On average, maybe 70 to 85% of the unfranchised cost of the product. In some cases, upwards of close to 100% when you get involved with maybe some cosmetics products. But the point is this. The higher the margin that we have to work with, the higher the BV value we can assign to that particular product. Now, Jay, you talk about extracting that margin.
From every manufacturer, from every supplier, we extract as much margin as we can, explaining to them this is the fuel that sells products because this goes to the unfranchised owners. And so the higher that is, the better it is.
Exactly
and we're
right.
pretty good at getting the maximum. Your dad is.
So he's absolutely. And we have a fantastic team. So we're not going to spend that much time tonight going through, of course, the details or the specifics about each and every exclusive product, but I want to encourage you all to go on to shop.com and you'll find all the details, customer reviews, features and benefits, all the ingredients, all the references is all accessible through shop.com, okay? Isotonics happens to be our #1 brand worldwide. And, if you don't mind, I'm going to mention this. Is that okay?
I don't know what you're going to mention.
Well, I feel like I sound smart when I talk about isotonics.
Yeah, great.
So isotonics is the most advanced nutraceuticals available. And it refers to a term isotonic. Iso means same and tonic means tone or pressure. So when you mix the solution or mix the powder with water, the solution becomes an isotonic capable state, which means the same osmotic pressure as the fluids in your system. So when you drink isotonics, right, it passes through the stomach. The pyloric valve stays open because there's no digestive process needs to take place, and it passes through right into the small intestine. So you're absorbing almost 100% of the nutrients
without throwing acid on it.
Thank you.
Which changes the polymers.
So because of this absorption rate, your body can help itself. And you contrast that to what most people take, which is normally a tablet, as far as a multivitamin, antioxidant, or a multimineral. And those tablets are compressed into that form with fillers, and there's a coating and binders. The point is, your body physiologically cannot break down that tablet in order for you to absorb the nutrients that you're paying for. Yep. So isotonics has just been a godsend and just has made a tremendous positive impact on thousands of people's lives around the world. So, but we're just kind of highlighting the different brands within the multi-billion-dollar categories or industries that you can capitalize on through the company's exclusive products. So that's BV. Then we have IBV. Now IBV stands for Internet Business Volume. And Internet Business Volume are the points that are created when transactions are made from all the partners on shop.com. So obviously, as an unfranchised owner, if you're going to buy a pair of sneakers from Nike or you need to buy something from Home Depot, I'm not going to go to Nike or Home Depot outside of shop.com. I'm going to go to my own site, click on Nike or click on Home Depot, make the same transaction, pay the same price, and in some cases, a little bit lower, some of the exclusive promotions and deals that we have. But what I'm also going to get in return is IBV, because it contributes toward the growth of my business. I'm converting my spending into earning, right? As an unfranchised owner, we're able to do that. So IBV, not only do you get the IBV from your own transactions, but you're also getting the IBV for every consumer transaction that's made on your site. And remember, they're also getting cash back for those same transactions. So everybody wins. The partner, the consumer, and the unfranchised owner.
Well said.
Thank you, sir. So there's several ways to create BV and IBV, which starts to happen on an ongoing basis. The first way is from your own personal use. You become a product of the product, right? When you start to use your own products and experience results and benefits, we're all human beings. It's human nature to share those experiences, like the movie example.
It's exactly the same thing.
It's exactly what happened. And you can't keep a good thing to yourself, and word-of-mouth advertising sets in.
I got to add in that people don't really trust advertising. Would you agree with that?
I would.
I mean, what they do trust, though, is somebody that they know that's used something recommending it. Even internet sales is more driven by recommendations and what people tell people by the grapevine and where to find it than any other method. And that's what we're all about, the people power.
Exactly right, exactly right. But the difference is, and you're going to see in a moment, the tracking system tracks all that word-of-mouth activity to ensure all that business comes back to you so you can capitalize, you can earn.
We'll talk about it over this weekend, but our tracking system is absolutely revolutionary. Amazon doesn't have one, Affiliate Market doesn't have one, Shopify doesn't have one. We have the most amazing tracking system that organically follows who led to who, checks every month from every vendor, every Market America store, and every brand outside of it, and captures any orders. If you live in Hong Kong and go to Malaysia and order something, it picks it up and you get credit. If you go to UK, and get divorced, it now picks it up for both the wife and the husband.
Or you can get married, or you can get married if you go there.
But it protects you. You own the customer base, and it tracks it, accumulates it, 100% credit until you earn or a year is up. Nobody else has that.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's why we're catching the attention of a lot of online sellers, whether it be from Amazon, Shopify, Etsy, etc. So it's a very unique time right now. So we mentioned personal use in shopping creates BV and IBV. Customer sales, we're very retail driven because our products perform. We wouldn't be here today growing consistently for almost 30 years if it wasn't for the benefits that people have experienced with our products and services. And so when you consider the thousands of partner stores, we have a free download called Shop Buddy, which ensures that the consumer knows about the deals, sales, and promotions that all the partners are currently providing. We have great trial size marketing, which helps to people to experience the products.
Follows up with them and gives you information that they tried it. I mean, the point is that we're a real digital 360 internet marketing company. I don't know what you think or your friends think, but that's what we are. The rest of it is a tracking system. It's not multi-level or one of those things, okay? So we have the best of all worlds. This is the most powerful business opportunity ever created for the average person.
Step 1, apply. 2, create BV and IBV. The third step is to qualify. Now, you qualify your business development center once you sell through 200 BV worth of products. Now, consider the fact that OPC3 is 43.5 BV, just one product. So 200 BV is really not that much. So when your business development center, which you're provided with 3 when you establish the business, but we're just going to focus on developing 1 first. When your business development center is qualified, your left and right BV and IBV banks have now opened. And when they're open, you can now start to accumulate the BV and IBV being created.
Not only done by you, but by other people. So why do you have to qualify? Because everybody has to carry their own weight, or we would load up the system with people that are getting credit that didn't do anything. And that formula is sure to fail.
Exactly.
So everybody just has to carry their own weight and do, a little bit, which is almost impossible not to do if you share the product. So it's a very powerful system. And there's also legal reasons. You can't have a passive income by just signing up and getting credit for everybody if you didn't do anything.
Right.
So, everything's thought through and solid. It's realistic. It doesn't take much to do it, and that's the way it is.
It's retail driven. So there's a sense of urgency to qualify your business development center sooner than later, because like you just mentioned, Jerry, you don't want to miss out on any volume that could be created.
So let's suppose you get in and you have a couple people that come to a meeting and they join before you do. Sometimes that happens. Well, you don't lose the people. Okay, you wouldn't get the volume that they did that week because you're not qualified. But that's a good reason to hurry up and get it done this week, and then you get it. So it's a very fair system. You follow? You don't lose the people, and as soon as you do the 200, then you get credit on the 200 that they do and the people that.
Exactly. So what we've been able to do is we put everything into a package. And most people, when they establish the business, they want to get qualified because they want to get credit immediately. So we put together what we call a Fast Start program. So we put the subscription of $129.95 into a simple kit, and we included some of the top-selling products. We include the shipping. We include additional business support materials. We put it into a package for $429.95. And you're in business, you're well equipped, your sites go live immediately, you're e-commerce enabled, and you can choose which Fast Start kit you want to start your business with based on what your interest is.
And my personal philosophy on this is that this is a real value for somebody that's going to make the business work. But it's not going to make you successful by buying it. One of my favorite sayings is never allow money to prevent you from becoming successful or financially independent or rich. Never let money prevent you from becoming rich. Because if you'll do the work, and if you'll do a trial run, and if you'll do the trial sizes, you'll generate the money to do it anyway. So let's just talk about doing it, okay? The money comes second, and if you're dedicated, we're going to find a way to do that. But the reason it makes sense is if a person has qualified and done a trial run, okay, it's a greater value for them. They're getting a lot more product. We're basically giving away the ship or the house. We're giving them a lot more because they've been through a trial run. They want to get started right, and it gives. The other thing is, I remember signing people up in the beginning. It would take 3 hours. You know,
This is almost immediate.
making the choices of product, and when you don't know them, took a lot. This packages it all together. You know, the best people in the business, the corporate team, the executive sales team know the products well. They put together packages of greater value for, you know, less money, and then you got what you need.
And regardless of which Fast Start kit that you select, you still have access to everything, okay?
Right.
So apply, create, qualify. The fourth step is to activate. Now, you activate your business development center once you personally partner with one qualified unfranchised owner on the left and one qualified unfranchised owner on the right. Now, as I mentioned in the very beginning, not everybody qualifies for the business. We're very selective on who we choose to partner with. But just to illustrate how this works, we have a Mark on the left, we have Kate on the right. We just simply teach Mark and Kate after they go through a trial run, okay? They're probably going to have some people who are interested in purchasing some products, and they're probably going to have a couple of people interested in evaluating the business and getting started themselves. But they're going to do the same thing you did, apply, create, and qualify. So they have their own business development center. They have their own shop.com site. They're the president and CEO of their own unfranchised business, the same way you are. Okay, which takes me to the fifth and final step.
Can I take the opportunity to teach something?
Yes.
The reason that you have to activate and have two is the movie story that I just told you. We can't credit and accumulate and store volume for somebody when they only have one channel. Okay, there has to be two, so there's a multiplier in the system. So there's a mathematical reason, a legal reason, and a systemic or programming, you know, reason. So when it's accumulating up both, you get it accumulates without any dilution. Everybody is doing it together. Everybody's getting credit. So if everybody does more than two, you have to do two in order to accumulate the volume. But that's not a milestone where you stop. Oh, I did it. We all keep doing it, and it grows so much faster, and everybody starts earning money.
Exactly, Jared. What I love about this is as the business develops, as people lead to people, it makes no difference who leads to who or where they are geographically. The tracking system captures it all and ensures, through two vertical lines of distribution, ensures that it all remains intact and you get credit for it, to your point, right?
So I always joke that, people say, I don't know anybody. Well, what are you going to do when you die? It takes 6 people to carry you. You only need 2 here to live.
Exactly.
But it's not just 2 people. It's 2 organizations, right? We build 2 organizations together. We don't have to build 6, 10, or 20, okay? Even in franchising and insurance, they need multiple units. MLM, it's the worst of all because it has to multiply layer after layer after layer, and it becomes an exponential increase of people necessary to sustain itself. We don't have that. It's all down 2 vertical lines, and everybody's gaining.
Exactly.
Hallelujah.
And you can get lucky and find the right 2 people at the right time who are coachable and follow the system, and you end up with a very significant supplemental income. But what's better, and to reinforce your point, if you bring on and partner with more than 2, you're going to accelerate the growth of your business. And in addition to that, you're going to help other people's businesses grow as well. So watch the screen. If you have Mark and Kate that you've personally partnered with, they in turn might lead to a couple of people who qualify for the business. They establish their unfranchised business. Now you have a third person. And that person's name is Matt. You tell the system where to place Matt within your left or right organization vertically in depth. As JR mentioned, we're not growing the business horizontally, we're only growing it vertically down 2 lines.
And everybody benefits.
So here you go, just to illustrate that, here's Matt, comes into the business, he establishes it, and of course 300 BV is created because that's the BV associated with a Fast Start Kit. Well, that 300 BV, as you just saw, flows up the organization, and each person, Chris, Megan, Mark, you, and your senior partners are all getting 300 BV. Also, to JR's point, there's no levels that need to be filled out. There's no little percentages based on levels. There's no pay line to cut off the flow of the volume. The system, as you're going to see momentarily, will search infinitely in depth to calculate every single transaction being made by every unfranchised owner and every customer shopping on every unfranchised owner's sites. And all the BV and IBV is flowing up the organization, and everybody's getting credit for it, okay? Now, Maybe the next person that you personally partner with, it might make sense to place them on your right side. As you can see with Erica, the same thing happens. All the volume flows up and every single person gets the same credit. And by the way, as I mentioned before, all this can be tracked and managed through your UnFranchise business account, all the different reports that you can access. Now, it's possible that people who are senior to you, as they're continuing to grow and qualify new partners for the business, they can place them within your organization vertically in depth. That's what this slide is illustrating.
Nowhere else for them to go. They have one other leg. It's either you or the other leg. There is no horizontal, expansion. Therefore, there's a compounding effect, if you understand compounding, of everybody putting their people down those two lines. You're one of them until it maxes out.
Exactly. So your senior partner, as you saw, can place them within your own organization. So the point is this. Obviously, you don't start out and your organization's in place. We're ultimately expanding points of distribution over time, okay, as people lead to people who qualify for the business and are worth our time, energy, and effort because they're sincere and serious about getting the things that they want and following the business plan. So here we go, JR. We're going to talk about the referral tracking system and how it calculates all this volume and how it translates into commissions. So each and every day, the system will search infinitely in depth to calculate every transaction being made by every UnFranchise owner and every customer of every UnFranchise owner. So it just so happens maybe Ashley had a customer place an order for a few products. 63 BV was created and a retail profit was also created. Ashley gets the retail profit and the BV flows up the organization. As you can see, everybody gets the same credit. Maybe on your right side, Mike placed an order for his own personal use or his family. BV and IBV being created, once again, that volume flows upward, okay? So here's how it translates into commissions. The system will search for all the BV and IBV. It flows up the organization. And when the system sees you've accumulated 1,200 BV on the left and 1,200 BV on the right, a $300 commission is directly deposited into your account. Now, $300 is the smallest commission that Market America pays. $300 is really, it's significant.
It's significant.
Right? And the commissions we're talking about now are in addition to the retail profits that are also being made. Now, let's say you don't get to 1,200 and 1,200. Now, in traditional network or traditional multi-level marketing, generally speaking, their commissions are paid on a monthly basis. Well, with the UnFranchise business, the commissions are calculated weekly.
So if you're doing more volume, you can get more paychecks. It's not overflow.
Exactly. And also in traditional network marketing, generally speaking, if you don't reach the criteria to earn at the end of that pay cycle, which is normally at the end of the month, all the volume you accumulated in that month's time is reset to zero. The people at the top are generally the ones that make the majority of the money.
They made it on your breakage, on the fact that you didn't hit the level.
Well, it's not true here. Because if you don't reach 1,200 BV on the left and right, it's not a problem. Because your left and right banks can stay open by simply exercising an accrual option, which enables your left and right BV and IBV banks to continue to accumulate day to day, week to week, and month to month. So it's not a question of if you're going to earn commissions. It's rather a question of when, provided you simply stick with the system. Now, some people build a business very aggressively. Some people build it very leisurely. Once again, it's about you and what you want and when you want it and how much time, energy, and effort you want to invest. So let's move forward.
It's pretty remarkable when you think about the programming, because if somebody above you earns before you, okay, normally in other systems the volume would flush, but your volume stays in even though that they reset. If somebody below you earns and you haven't because your other leg isn't high enough, okay, it doesn't punish them and it doesn't punish you. Your volume stays in. And so you have all of these business development centers, thousands of them, on different clocks with different meters adjusting every week, and never does somebody lose out because somebody else won.
Hence part of the miracle you mentioned at the very beginning of the presentation. I know you're going to be going into depth on the power of the plan during this World Conference, so make sure you tune in, of course, at JR, which you would do anyway. So the next criteria or threshold is at 2,400 and 2,400. Of course, it includes the original 1,200, so it's just an additional 1,200 BV accumulated in your left and right banks. When that happens, an additional $300 in commissions is directly deposited into your account. Next, 3,600 and 3,600, the same thing happens. But to JR's point, let's say you're earning commissions, of course, in addition to the retail profits, but you're also supporting Mark and Kate. So if Mark gets to 1,200 BV in his left and right banks, he earns a $300 commission. But if he's at 1,200 BV in his left and right banks, that means at a minimum, 2,400 BV had to have been deposited in your left bank. Once again, illustrating the fact or reinforcing the fact that you're getting 100% credit for all the BV and IBV being created within your left and right organization without dilution. The last threshold's at 5,000 BV on the left and 5,000 BV on the right. When it reaches that criteria, a $600 commission is earned, for a total of $1,500 in commissions so far, in addition to the retail profits. Now, as BV is accumulating, remember you have IBV banks as well. IBV is also being calculated, tracked, and is flowing up the organization and accumulating in your left and right IBV banks. So the same payout criteria applies, 1,200, 2,400, 3,600, and 5,000. So an additional $1,500 potentially can be earned from that business development center in a week once your organization gets to that point.
Generally, you earn first on BV because it's higher.
Correct.
But the IBV builds up behind it. And as you have glue between all the business development centers because they're making money and the numbers grow, it starts to reach the point where it's paying out. So now you're getting 2 checks, 2 payments on the same organization without having to add more people on.
And what's even better, JR, once you reach 5,000 and 5,000 the first time, your left and right banks are reset to 0. But for those guests out there, pay attention to this. When you start developing the business, there's nobody on your team. During the process of developing the business, of course, the volume is accumulating, commissions start to be earned in addition to the retail profits. So when the banks are reset to 0, you have a little team in place. So when you start to accumulate the volume the second go around, it's going to take less time to accumulate and reach the criteria to earn.
They all have customers that are reordering. And
leading to other customers.
You can't even be accumulating without that happening. So there's regenerated volume because you already have the organization, the people, and the customers. So it doesn't take 3 months or a month for it to happen again. It starts happening a couple times a month, 3 times a month, 4 times a month.
Exactly, JR. I mean, listen, you can't make $3,600 per week until you make $300 a month first, right, JR? So
Right.
you begin to earn $300 a month, which might not seem like a lot, but then it's $600 a month. Then it's $300 a week, then it's $600 a week. And to JR's point, you get to a point where you're accumulating enough volume on a weekly basis to earn anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 weekly. But remember what we said in the very beginning. It's a 2 to 3 year business plan, okay? But you're earning as you're developing and growing the business. And you're creating a very valuable asset for you and your family, okay? Now, once again, all this can be tracked and managed through UnFranchise.com or your account, which is you're provided with when you establish the business. Now, automatically, when the system sees you're at 5,000 BV on the left and right, to JR's point again, every business development center is on a different time clock. The system will automatically search to find one business development center on the left and one business development center on the right to also reach the 5,000 and 5,000 BV criteria. And when this happens, that particular week, an additional $600 bonus is earned. So you add the 600 to the 3,000, obviously that's $3,600, and that's the most that can be earned from one business development center in a week. So by simply building 2 vertical lines of distribution, one on the left and one on the right, from one business development center, you can develop an income of $187,000 per year, not including retail profits. It's a pretty significant supplemental income.
And the real way of doing that, the most effective way of doing that, is to get Mark in this diagram to be earning. The objective is to take the emphasis off of you and to get one person on the left and one person on the right cycling weekly, okay? And when they get two people cycling, that's really living security. That income's coming in because they all have the customers and it's working and they're earning. And in a very disruptive world in society and marketing, think about this. How hard is it to tear that structure apart? Everybody's earning. Everybody loves the product. Nobody's going to leave because they're enjoying the income.
Exactly. And that's what we've experienced for almost 30 years.
Right. Exactly.
And now with unfranchised owners in a great community spanning 8 countries. You know, I think you mentioned this before, JR, but it's just when you start to really understand how this is organized and the tracking system, you know, the word of mouth advertising that happens just naturally, and then our tracking system capturing it all and ensuring you get credit for it for the rest of your life there's the miracle. You know, I know you're going to talk about it this weekend. One more point, and then we're going to bring this in for a close, JR.
We're coming in for a landing.
We're coming in for a landing.
Buckle your seatbelt.
I mentioned that every business that's established, you're provided with 3 business development centers, your 001, 002, and 003. Now, we illustrated it primarily by developing the 001 with Mark on the left, placed on the left side of the 002, and Kate placed on the right side of the 003, building the 2 vertical lines of distribution that we just went over. So because of how this is organized, of course you're earning commissions from the 001, but you've automatically developed half of the 002 Business Development Center and half of the 003 Business Development Center. So down the road, it makes sense to build the right side of the 002, only one more vertical line to over time double your income.
I don't know if you get that, but you wouldn't understand this when we first showed the plan. So we tricked you and put it in.
It's a good trick.
We put it in it's a positive trick. Okay, so that when you built to earn on your 001 and you're enjoying the income, now you're just, I mean, you talk about belief, you're getting these checks, I mean, you're living a better life, you love it. So you want to build more. Well, you this time don't have to build 2, because in the process, you already satisfied 1/2 of your additional BDC, and you only have to build 1 more leg to double your income. And then you can build on the other side.
And then on the left side of the 003, you've now tripled your income.
Amazing, you know?
Right. So ultimately, this boils down to producing twice the amount, but earning 3 times the income, based on how this is organized.
You like that?
I think, by the way, just saw Elizabeth Weber. Elizabeth sent you a text. An excellent job, JR. Okay. Last point. Just to illustrate. Of course, now you have an understanding that each business development center is capped at $3,600 that can be earned in a week, right, from one business development center. But if you want to make more, if you want to earn more, it's important to note that when you reach 5,000 BV on the left and right, you earn an additional business development center. So you start with 3, so the next one that you earn would be your 4th. Now you can place that business development center anywhere within your left or right organization. So if you look at the slide, you did, in this example, just to illustrate how it works, you placed your 004 on the left side of Megan, okay? Now you don't need to apply to the company again because you're already an unfranchised owner, but you would want to, of course, qualify this center with 200 BV to open up its left and right banks. We want to activate it by personally partnering with a minimum of 1 qualified unfranchised owner on the left and 1 qualified unfranchised owner on the right, and simply doing the same thing on the left and right of the 004 that you did originally on the left and right of the 001.
So this is miraculous. Instead of expanding horizontally in competition with everybody, you're multiplying your profit vertically below everyone. They're benefiting. You're vesting and securing your original income while you multiply your income, and everybody else benefits from it and gets closer to earning.
You said it.
I gotta say, it's genius.
Are you sponsoring yourself again right now?
Yeah, I'm in.
You're in again. So yeah, everybody wins, and of course the next one would be your 5th, and maybe it makes sense to place it on the right side.
You guys all understand nobody else has this. I mean, franchising wishes they could do that, because when a McDonald's opens up and is successful, you know what they do? They put one right on the 2-mile territorial limit. Same thing with Starbucks. They wish that they could get a piece of that because they were there first, you know, but well, we're not going to ever show them the formula.
Of course, we'll keep it for ourselves. And everybody here, of course, is part of the community benefits. Now, JR, now I'll lead with this, of course, continue with your color commentation, okay? It's been fantastic.
Oh, I've enjoyed it.
So listen, as we mentioned in the very beginning, don't try to understand all this evening or this morning, depending on where you're tuning in from. So for the guests out there, of course, as we mentioned, there's a lot of new terminology and information. So don't worry about it, okay? But I think, go ahead, Jerry.
That's pretty good, Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I've been doing this for a while.
Don't worry about understanding all this. My goodness, if you understood the whole thing, God bless you, you're the smartest people in the world. I created the thing, and I didn't understand it in one night. You know, so that's not what the important thing is. The important thing is, in the beginning of the night, you chose a 2 to 3 year plan over the 45-year plan. That shows that you understand, that you know something. So the real question now is, will it work for you? Okay?
Exactly.
And the only way that I know how to figure that out is to test it out. So what I'm willing to do, because I know you, and I respect you, and I know what your goals are, and you know, you have a beautiful family. I'm willing to dedicate my time to doing a test market, or what I call a trial run with this, and I'll do it with you, okay? And at the end of 30 to 90 days, okay, after we run it up the flagpole to some people to see, just get them to evaluate it, to see if they salute it, okay? If you have people that like the product and want the product, or people that want to do it, it already worked.
Exactly.
I did it with you for 1 to 3 months, and the people want in. You know, they chose a 2 to 3 year plan. They want to get some people to evaluate it. You have people buying some product. There's no decision to make. It already worked, okay? What I don't want to do is just have you sign up and not know if it'll work for you, okay? So I'm willing to do that because you chose a 2 to 3 year plan, and because I like you a lot.
We're glad you like us. So this process, I love the process because it adjusts to anybody's comfort level, right?
I got to tell you, I've been doing this my whole life. That's what works. People wrestle with the decision. And then, you sign them up, and then you don't do anything. This way it works. It's just self-perpetuating. You know, I just really recommend that you have a lot of fun with it, and that you do this, and you get a team of people doing it. You don't need to worry about signing them up. Let me tell you, believe me, I've done it my whole life. They're begging to sign up because they have people under them.
Exactly.
You know?
So you get those 2 questions answered for the guest, for the person who is evaluating the business and goes on a trial run. Their question is, will it work for me? They're able to answer that question during the process. And the unfranchised owner who introduced you to the business, their question is, are you right for the business? So going through the trial run process proves that you're coachable and worth their time, energy, and effort. That's why I said in the very beginning that the person who introduced you tonight showed you a lot of respect and thinks a lot of you, okay? So maybe you thank them in the very beginning.
So, you know, we're not only showing, but we're teaching. We're not only presenting the opportunity, we're teaching. It's just amazing that Andrew picked up the exact wording. This is a script. If you were doing a commercial or in a play, you would have to follow your lines. So don't worry about understanding all this tonight. My goodness, you understood the whole thing. You know, you'd be a genius. Doing that no decision close, or that trial run close, or taking the pressure off of them, you know, it just works. You just got to follow the script. You have it. Learn your lines. So when I do that at the end of the night, my group is trained. Don't worry about understanding all this. It's like a tent shut. They all get their, you know, their
phone out,
their thing out, and they turn to them and say, "What did you like most about it? Can we get back together Wednesday night or Friday night in order to go over it again, answer your questions, and to show you how to get some people to evaluate it to see if it'll work for you?"
And these days it's actually done on Zoom,
yeah,
right?
Wait till you see the Elizabeth Weber team all in Zoom masterpiece. They've got this down to a masterpiece and are growing faster than ever, hitting pen levels.
Actually,
so you're going to see it this weekend. Doing exactly what we're talking about, but adapted for these times. Here's the funny thing. It works so well, when these times are over, we're still going to do it.
It's a more efficient, effective, and faster way to develop the business. But, Jared, I'm going to leave with...
Andrew, you did a great job.
So did you,
I'm
Jared.
in. You sponsored
I'm in
me.
as well. But listen, you're gonna like this. I'm going to leave you with 3 guarantees, okay? The first guarantee is if you don't look for anything, you'll never find anything. So congratulations to all of you who are evaluating the business and looking.
That's a big point.
The second guarantee is if you don't try anything, nothing will ever change. Please don't expect to get the same result if you continue to do the same thing. And the third guarantee is, and probably the most important guarantee, is if you can't do this one, forget the rest. I mean, certainly don't try to start your own traditional business without giving this a trial run first. Okay? Because this can help you develop a very significant supplemental income, and by helping other people do the same thing, could end up in a living security and a very valuable asset. Okay? So, listen, it's a perfect time because tomorrow we're going to officially start the 2021 virtual Market America Worldwide Shop.com World Conference. So for those of you who are evaluating the business this evening or this morning, depending where you're tuning in from, I strongly encourage you to get a ticket to this conference because you can accomplish 6 months of becoming acclimated in the business with the training and information and knowledge it would take so much time to get or attain. You can do that in these 3 days of this World Conference.
Timing's everything, and the time is now. You just happen to be on tonight. We're just happy to have this conference, and you'll be ahead by 6 months from what you're exposed to and learn that you would have to go to different meetings or different Zooms. It all comes together, and the person who invited you will start the Zoom process of evaluations with you, and you'll be on the road to earning money.
Exactly. You know? So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And JR.
Thank you, Andrew. That was just fabulous. I'm impressed. I haven't seen you do it in a few months. You're even better.
So a lot of people ask, have asked me, what does JR say in the living rooms? Because, before, this pandemic, of course, we did a lot of meetings. And one thing about JR, and what I love about his leadership as our founder, chairman, and CEO, and creator of the plan is that he continues to do the things that it takes to develop the business. Back 29, almost 30 years ago, he continues to do the same thing today. So we talk about true leadership by example. We're fortunate enough to have our leader continue to practice what he preaches. Right? And so I just acknowledge that and salute that and appreciate that.
We're down in the trenches. We're in the streets.
So JR, thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of this special, very, very special UnFranchise Business Presentation.
Thank you, Andrew, for inviting me.
And thank you for creating the plan, okay? We look forward to seeing you guys, hopefully all of you, at the World Conference starting tomorrow morning, right? Thank you very much.
What a great job you did, Andrew.
Same to you. I'm in as well.